Considering my excitement to play the Naruto storyline on a PC in a game from this decade, it seems that Ninja Storm Connections would be a guaranteed shoo-in to be my favorite Naruto game of all time. But I was in for one of the biggest video game disappointments I've had, to the point where I was considering returning it within the first half hour of playing the game. But I decided to explore the game more and find out exactly where this game went wrong. At first, it would seem that Ninja Storm Connections delivered an ideal compromise to appeal to both Naruto fans as well as Boruto fans. They did this by offering two campaign modes. The first story is set in the Boruto timeline, and I'm gonna be honest and say that this failed to capture my interest. It feels like filler with exceptionally boring dialogue, without any of the open world elements of the other numbered titles. It somehow feels tagged on despite all the voice work and cutscenes they created for it. The second campaign is a historical campaign that it covers the entirety of the main events in the Naruto franchise. Its presentation isn't the best, as most of the story is told through stills from the anime. However, the presentation was better than some of the older games, but some of the picture choices weren't all that great, and then they went and blew up the pictures, making them look even worse. To be honest, I'm actually okay with using still images, but the in-game engine looks so good, they could have easily made some stills using it, and it would have prevented it from looking like ass. It really is a shame, as this is the only real blunder to the aesthetics, as the characters and cutscenes are the best looking they've ever been. However, it does feel that they spent too much of their development time creating more costumes and colors for the online multiplayer that will unfortunately likely die soon. The music is also pretty good, but it seems that it once again was carried over from other titles. The voice work is a bit of a mixed bag, as many characters seem to have different voice actors than the anime, but at least it has voice work, which is a lot more than some of the other games. The changes made were also carried over to the gameplay. There's been significant changes to the combat that not only speed up the combat, but also potentially pose significant balancing issues that disincentivizes the use of many characters of what is the largest roster of the series. Personally, I like that characters can use multiple jutsus in battle, but I feel that it could have been implemented better, as its addition replaced amped ranged attacks that then hinders some characters' effective range. Add that to the addition of passively recharging chakra, and the game definitely favors a more aggressive playstyle as opposed to a more strategic approach. Overall, it heavily favors more modern characters from the series, while disincentivizing the use of icons from the early days. And I don't know if it's just me, but it feels that the combat is oddly closer to that of the original than to Naruto Ninja Storm 4, but who knows. However, I do think that they added some decent accessibility features. This includes a simple mode, which helps people who may struggle with combos or have limited mobility issues. I tried it and felt it was more difficult to perform the techniques I wanted to, but it is customizable and may help those who struggle to perform quick button combinations. There is a decent selection of difficulty and handicap options that can also make the game more difficult if you should choose. There's a number of verbal and subtitled language options, as well as complete controller customization. Connections also has a decent level of convenience. It's available on PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, Series, Switch, and available digitally on Steam. Well, I don't like that the options menu isn't more prominent, and is honestly a worrying path that some modern games are taking. Some of the other UI elements are honestly pretty ugly, but it does have more options than previous titles that should make it easier for you to play, even if you have older hardware. Though on my initial launch, the game did register my resolution correctly, but something in the settings went wrong and it didn't properly sync until I changed it to a different resolution and back. But other than that, I did fail to see any other bugs. But despite my dislike of some of the changes, Connections does offer a complex combat system that flows remarkably well. The graphics are hit and miss, and so are the two story sections. Despite its improvements over older titles in the series, I don't think I can rate it higher than the original Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm. Ultimately, its downsides neutralize the positive changes in what could have been the greatest game in the series, leading it to a disappointing meh rating. It is a middle-of-the-pack game in my opinion, but let me know what you think down in the comments below. Check out my last review on Haiti, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the virtual commute.